Now that we've played with some effects, let's talk about effect automation. We have talked about volume automation and panning automation, so hopefully we understand that the idea of automation is to be able to do something to a parameter and have that move or that change happen automatically. All right, so how does that relate to effects? Let's go back to this quick effects session that I have with this guitar. I've muted the delay. All right, so the delay is gone, and that's on an aux track, by the way, which I should always name my aux track. Oh gosh, I hit the wrong thingamajig. Undo. Double click, delay. I'm going to keep my distortion on here. Underneath the distortion, I'm going to choose something from the modulation category. In this instance, it is called the Air Vintage filter. That took me a minute. Okay, and the Air Vintage filter is a filter, meaning that it is cutting out certain frequencies. We used the Air Kill EQ, and that filtered out frequencies. But this one gives you the ability to sweep through the frequencies that you want to cut. So let's start this down at around 164 and see what it sounds like there. All right, sounds like you're driving by a nightclub and you're hearing the band from inside. And let's see what happens as I play the guitar back and I move this cutoff. Okay, kind of neat, what have you. Now, I can't sit here and move that cutoff all the time. How can I automate that so that I can put this cool effect in? All of your effects are going to have this auto button. Same with all of the synths and instruments. And there are parameters within those that you can automate as well. So let's take a look at the Vintage filter. And when I click on this auto button, I see essentially a name for each of these different knobs. Okay, the master bypass is the on-off switch, the cutoff, the resonance. I'm going to choose the cutoff, and I'm going to essentially, this is like a menu, and this is your waiter or waitress's, your server, their order list. So I'm going to add that to my order, and I'm going to hit OK. Now this light comes on and tells me that this cutoff is ready to be automated. And if I come down to my automation lane, because this is an audio track, I don't have velocity, but I do have audio volume. Don't have to say audio because it's an audio track. I have volume, pan, and mute. And I also have the bus that I have sent to the aux track. And I also have the cutoff that I just created. So if I choose cutoff, this line now represents this knob. And if I choose to do a kind of slow, so I already have an anchor point at the beginning. I'm just going to go ahead over 2 measures and bring that up, not all the way, but pretty close. And I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to go and listen to that, and I'm going to watch the cutoff knob. And that is the basic of effects automation. The idea is that you're able to control parameters of that effect in order to change what it sounds like over time. It's not much more complicated than that. What is complicated is to kind of understand what each of these knobs do, which I could get into that, but it's easier to play around with them and try and make sense out of that to begin, and then we'll get into kind of explaining them. You know, again, if I look at auto on this, I can bring up anything and I can change it over time, and that could be fun too. Maybe take the crunch, the distortion, or the buzz, and kind of make it sound different over time. All right, that is the basics of automation of effects.